the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama, touchdown run.
And everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy here with you on a little cool and crisp Saturday morning. Maybe this is going to be one of the last few cool, crisp Saturday morning. You know, I don't mind it when it warms on up during the day, but, man, you always get one more cold spell, right, before Easter, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, we got spoiled the last couple of weeks, kind of got a little taste of spring and summer, and then all of a sudden now you get hit with another 29-degree morning. So, hey, and look, the fishing tournament, high school, the Alabama Bass Fishing Association up in Gadsden, Neely Henry, so they had a cold start to the morning, but we're used to it. You know, expect it to be cold or some type of weather going on when you're fishing a tournament. That's no doubt. You don't ever have a Chamber of Commerce day on a tournament day. Never have that.
I've learned that from you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You need to come on out there. You start. When you pull in on two wheels in the show, you probably ain't gonna make it as a fisherman. So
the person, there was somebody that Braden was going to take fishing, and the time frame was a little off for him, and I think I'm
he said
in
he
line
wanted
with him.
to go until Braden told him he was going to come pick him up at 4. He thought it was 4 in the afternoon. He said, "No, 4 in the morning." He said, "No, I probably ain't gonna go." So I'm good where I am. But anyway, glad everybody's joined us out there. You can give us a call today, 256-234-6221 to be on the show. You can comment away on our Facebook Live page, and also you can comment away on YouTube. We're going to start shifting a lot of our stuff to YouTube. I know we've been saying that now for about a month, but we want you to go out there and subscribe. We got our bracket challenge going on, and boy, it is a challenge for everybody. I'll just go ahead and stress that because everybody, I kept getting texts. I go, "Man, well, my bracket's busted." I said, "Well, so is everybody else's." So basically, it's like starting over again.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, if you had Arizona, if you had Purdue, most everybody else did. So you're just hoping that your other teams panned out.
Or unless you had them as a champion like I did, and that really hurts.
You have Purdue.
I know I had
Arizona. I mean, that was of the 2 seeds. I felt that they had the best opportunity.
I did too.
Them in Texas, and
God,
Texas may have a
chance. Have you ever seen a tournament like this one?
It's. I mean, every year
serious.
we say, you know, it can't get.
No, but I think it is. I think this one tops everything.
Well, we talked about it throughout the regular season, how there was really no team. Alabama's been kind of, you know, the one, but not a team where you just look and say this isn't like your '90s Duke or your Kentucky's. And they're like, you've got teams that can be beat, and clearly with Purdue going down. I never
felt Purdue was all that good. I mean, I'm being honest about it. I know they kept, putting wins up, and I know they had Edie inside, and I'm like, but where else are they really good? And then they kind of had a little bit of a stretch there midway to the end of the season, lost 2 or 3 in a row, and I thought, gosh, and then at one point in time, everybody else had faltered so much, and Purdue lost 2 in a row, and they stayed number 1 in the country because they didn't have anybody else to put up there. And I'm like, well, what in the world? Who else is out there? Houston? I mean, they're banged up, and we're going to talk about that today. Yeah. Auburn's got a legit chance, if not feel like they may have an advantage over Houston today. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. But Purdue's gone, and Houston has a chance to be knocked off today. I mean, Alabama's going to have a tough matchup with Maryland, although I think Alabama will end up taking care of business. But who does that leave left? Kansas.
Kansas is the one.
Kansas looked okay. They looked pretty good. Yeah. I mean, everybody in this tournament is beatable. I mean, every single team is. And if you're Alabama, are you concerned that Brandon Miller didn't score, or are you looking at it going, man, we scored 96 points and didn't have him score? I mean, there's 2 different ways to look at it. I mean, how do you feel about that? But if Pringle doesn't have basically a career game, that game's nip and tuck. I mean, so it's just a odd deal. Now, we went forever having no 1 seeds lose to a 16 seed, and now here in the last 6-7 years, Scott, we've had 2 go down. What does that tell you about college basketball? That the 16s aren't near as far away from the 1s as they were 30, 40, 50 years ago, and the changes in college basketball and changes in college athletics as a whole has brought everybody in tighter with opportunities. If you get a few good players, man, you can compete with anybody.
Yeah, it's so much easier, I think, to be competitive in basketball and building a roster in comparison to football. You're not going to see, for the most part, your 120th ranked team in college football beating, the number 1 team in the country.
Because of numbers.
But in this scenario, like you said, if you get 2 or 3 guys, and especially some of these teams that have, if you're a higher seed, more than likely you're a team that's had guys who are juniors and seniors, have played a lot of basketball together and understand what it takes to win in these tournaments, and especially these teams that had to fight to get in. Now it's a little different technicality there for
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah, for Fairleigh Dickinson. But the thing is, they got in, and so once you're there, we talked about that with the AHSAA finals. You can throw out records and throw out seeding. It's who's playing the best at that time and their confidence level. I did enjoy hearing the coach. I thought it was a little – I know it was coach speak initially, but, I mean, he felt confident that they had a chance to beat a team like Purdue. And when you play that style of basketball – yeah. He does.
They didn't have a coach. They just went and got an actor for a coach. But, I mean, that is all true. Look at Kentucky. They're playing – I mean, literally, they play 6 guys, and they play a 7th a little bit. He got a few minutes. But even Kentucky, I mean, who you would consider one of the blue bloods of college basketball, have such a short roster this year. I mean, it doesn't take, what was it, Florida Gulf Coast a few years ago? Had a couple guys. They called it, it was something Dunk City or something like that, Dunk University or something. I mean, they came on the scene because they had a couple of really talented, high-flying players, and they were dynamic. They won a couple of games. George Mason several years ago went to the Final Four. Again, you can do it in college basketball. I mean, you get a nucleus, like you said, you can do it by getting an infusion of new guys, or you can have veterans on your team. And these teams that have, these kids that have stayed around 3, 4, some of them 5 years, you have to watch that because the maturity level, the level of chemistry, what they're able to do together can be the trump card on all that to be able to move on in the tournament. So, but I just thought, I mean, on my way in today, I was like, gosh, man, there's been 2 or 3 upsets every day so far.
Yeah.
What are we going to see today, the first round of 32 here?
I mean, I think that you'll continue to see some of these higher seeds take advantage of teams that may be limping in a little bit or may not be playing their best basketball at this time. And Auburn's one of those teams, I think. And just looking at some of the seeding, like a Duke, for example, that's who I have winning it all. They're a 5 seed, but
they are not the same team they started the season as. This Duke team has kind of, and it's scary for opponents because they've flown under the radar. And now they've been, of course, they've been getting used to a new coach and been getting used to, several new guys, but as talented as anybody in the country. When you look at their roster, and they're playing like it now, Scott, that's the thing. Duke is a team a lot of people are looking at, and you think Texas, look at the controversy and stuff they've had to endure this year with such a very talented team, but it seems like they've got everything on track, and you got it on track to your next opponent because the next opponent can knock you off. But, I know we're just getting started here on the show. We're going to talk about Auburn and Alabama's game today. Talk about what's going on in Birmingham, how big a deal that is for them, and what a big week it has been for the city of Birmingham with UAB playing Southern Miss, and then Auburn and Alabama both playing. And then now they're back in the same building again as one of the 4 in this region that stayed alive. I thought that was huge for Auburn to make it to today. They had a tough matchup against Iowa, but wanted to see Auburn get through and get to this second day, get to this second round, have a chance at a Sweet 16, but also have Auburn and Alabama in the building at the same time. just brings all those fans back. You know, if Alabama would have lost or Auburn would have lost, half, you know, the tickets would have gone, you know, it wouldn't have been as a good a feel. That place will be slammed today, Scott.
Yeah.
It's going to be a late night.
And I'm excited for just the state of basketball here in Alabama. And, you know, the days of speaking, at least it appears that way, the days of talking about, you know, depth charts and schedules and spring training, spring practice in February, March are over. And I'm glad to see that. And I think that as long as those two guys are at the helm, or even if not, but I think both programs have solidified themselves.
I think
as
their
consistent.
jobs now that the day and age, I mean, I think their jobs when Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates decide they want to move on somewhere else or retire. I think Bruce Pearl, when he moves on, he's going to leave basketball. But if Nate Oates were to leave Alabama and go somewhere else, that now these two jobs are in a position that you're going to get another really good coach to come in here. This is not, you know, somewhere just to, you know, looking for, you know, whoever we can get. I mean, these are marketable jobs now. Both programs have proven that. I'm going to make sure I ask Luke when he calls in, if he's listening to his head coach, when he pretty much threw a shot at Auburn fans, said, well, I'd hope they'd be smart enough to pull for this. He said, well, I hope Luke's pulling for us today, too. You know, we might trade off. You know, we might pull for them. If they'll turn around and pull, we know that ain't happening.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, that's not happening by either fan base. So, but, again, it'll be a late night, but it'll be a fun night in Legacy Arena for both Alabama and Auburn fans. And we'll see how it all plays out. Auburn gets started first, and then Alabama will follow up with Maryland late tonight. Man.
Yeah,
9, a little after 9.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be a long night. So we're up against our first break of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Harold Orthodontics of Alex City has one simple mission: provide the region's most advanced diagnostic technology for you and your family's orthodontic and air passageway needs. At Harold Orthodontics, it's not just beautiful smiles, but revolutionary options for your family's orthodontic needs, as well as sleep apnea and jaw joint disorder relief. Dr. Harold and his caring staff provide the most accurate diagnosis to relieve the pain or frustration of sleep apnea and TMJ discomfort. Trust Harold Orthodontics. Call for a consultation at 256-234-6353.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed Vice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. You see the logo on the screen. If you're watching on Facebook or on TV, saw our good buddy Kevin Kill this week, and good to see him, and busy as ever. Just a great business, and just anything for your heating and air needs, call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air and his staff down there. They do a phenomenal job. 256-825-4849. Hey, look, the gymnastics championships start today. Session 1 is at 2:30, and then session 2 will be at 7. So, that's hey, look, gymnastics is huge in this state. Alabama's been really good for a while, and then Auburn over the last few years has really jumped up there, and Auburn went to a Final Four last year in gymnastics, and a lot of that had to do with Suni Lee coming in, and but being able to recruit some of the best girls in the country now to this program. So, Scott Blake started with us yesterday, Scott, and it's like he said. I thought he summed it up really well. He said, here for about the last 10 or 15 years, it's been whatever I can do. I mean, whatever you can do, I can do better. Deal with Alabama and Auburn. Didn't matter. One of us gets really good in something, and the other one is immediately good, and then competing at that level, or if not higher. And it kind of started with Nick Saban with football, and Auburn elevated its play, and went a couple national championships here in the last 15 years. And then you look at basketball. Bruce Pearl kind of brought that Auburn out of the ashes up to a level where it was one of the better programs in the country. Then Alabama finally finds a coach that can do the same for them in basketball. And you look at baseball, and Alabama had faltered, and Butch Thompson had brought Auburn back up. Now Brad Bohannon's got Alabama playing really good. And gymnastics, Alabama's really good. Now all of a sudden Auburn's been in the final. They just kind of, for all it's worth, they both have been challenging each other and making each other step their game up in all these different programs.
Yeah, and that's what a rivalry should be, is iron sharpens iron, and obviously want to beat them in everything. But when one of the teams isn't as good in the sport that you're doing well at, it seems like it takes a little bit away. Like, you're excited about the success, but
right.
If you're beating an Alabama team that's going 5-7 in football every year, then or making it to the NIT, that doesn't mean as much as what it means now to be able to beat them.
Yeah, softball, you can add that in there. Alabama, Patrick
sure.
Murphy just really good, and then Auburn hires Clint Myers, and then you can see what it's done to the program. I mean, it just, again, I thought you summed it up really, really well there. Both programs sharpening each other and making each other better. So, look, nobody complaining about that. And, again, I thought Bruce Pearl said it yesterday in his press conference. He said, we look like a basketball school today, after the way both teams played, and, the center of the basketball world being in Birmingham, it seemed like, with that regional and how full it was, and just the energy. And, he goes, look, we're a football state. We get it. We're good at it. And but we're pretty doggone good in basketball too. And, not just them, UAB, and we can go on and on. But it's not just a holdover sport, Scott, to spring football anymore. And I know Alabama had a good run in the 80s too. And, Auburn had some flashes there in the 90s, but for the most part it was, more down than there was good. And then hopefully now, I mean, if you look at the way since 2018 with, Auburn, winning the regular season and then going back and, tournament, and then Alabama, somewhat one of our two teams, if not both, have been in the mention for the SEC tournament champion or regular season champion since 2018. Kentucky's sprinkled in there, Tennessee sprinkled in there, but it's run through this state.
I hadn't thought about it like that, and that's a really good observation. And again, I think
that's the last 5 years of the SEC. So
I mean, and Auburn's been one of, if not the
winningest program in the conference.
So I mean, that never
Alabama's
would have
got a
been
couple
said.
of tournament titles and a couple of regular season titles. Auburn's got a couple of regular season titles and a tournament title in this span. And, I mean, so, you know, again, if you start looking at it from Kentucky's standpoint, their fans, you know, they don't make it to the championship game in the tournament again this year. You know, last year they got put out in the SEC tournament. Last year in the NCAA tournament, lost in the first round. They got past that last night, but I don't think anybody's expecting this team to make a long run. So you got to start looking at where Kentucky is as a whole.
Well, I mean, you look at North Carolina, for example. Like, they're in Kentucky's in a better state of the program than North Carolina, but these teams that traditionally we've considered as blue bloods, and they've won enough for them to be considered that, are now dealing with the same competitive nature that they've dominated for so long. And so now that everybody has access to the same pool of players, it doesn't mean as much. Like Jabari Smith or Darius Miller Darius Miller, I almost got a mouse. Brandon Miller can go to an Auburn or an Alabama and be just as successful if you went to a North Carolina or Duke or Kentucky. Right. And that's a selling point when you're Bruce Pearl and you can say you've put almost every year somebody in the first round, 2 lottery picks. I mean, that means something. And Alabama has had a run of NBA caliber players as well. So you don't have to go to a Kentucky. To the cachet of going to that doesn't mean as much to these kids who are growing up.
Make the tournament this year after going to the national championship game last year.
If you're 16, 17, 18 years old, you don't really know the history of those programs, so you have a more
that's why they fight.
bias.
You fight to have that continue and to keep that lower so you keep people coming in your direction. But once you ever break that seal, if you're at programs like Auburn and Alabama and you show that you can go up there and put as good a product on the floor, hey, why don't you come to our school and make us a blue blood? You know, instead of you going in there and falling in to the mix where 50 other players have gone on to NBA, why don't you come blaze a trail here? Ed said, had a friend of mine who is a Bama scholarship donor. Tell him that Alabama basketball is laser focused on the NIL to do whatever it takes, money-wise, to have a roster year in and year out to compete for a national championship. Auburn in 2019 scared the heck out of them that they might win a national championship before they did.
Yeah, I mean,
not surprised.
That's legitimate for sure. And I feel the same way now. And it was going back to your point, you know, it teeter-tots. But if Alabama wins the national championship in basketball, it would equate to probably 10 championships in a row in football. Like, it's going to be very tough as Auburn fans to have.
Well, and vice versa, you know, and the flip side of that is, you know, Nick Saban, again, coming down the stretch, don't know how many more years he's got, but I think a lot of people deep down know that Auburn's got a pretty doggone good football coach now. You know, the last 2 years have been crap. That guy was crap. And nothing else I can say about it. The people that hired him were crap. And they're just a terrible decision all the way around. It's not that way now. And you got a guy that doesn't sleep, that has a lot in the gas tank, man, and sees this as a redemption opportunity because of mistakes he made in his own personal life. He's not making any excuses, but to have a shot to finally get back in this conference and pick up where he left off, you know, winning and dominating recruiting-wise at a place like Ole Miss. Now he comes to Auburn where he's got all the resources and the facilities and everything he needs at his fingertips. And now with NIL and and the collective and all that stuff going on, I mean, basically all the stuff he got hit for at Ole Miss is pretty much legal now. Yeah. So, you know, that's got to scare some other people too. And so it's about keeping up, you know, with your neighbors and the people that are competing for championships and punching. You know, somebody comes back with a left, you come back with a right hook. You know, that's just the way it is. And I think that's where our programs are. And, you know, Alabama, you know, I've heard so many Alabama fans say, look, I just want to get to the Final Four. Never done that before. You know, y'all have done that. You know, it's been one of those kind of things. And, you know, if they were to fall short of the Final Four this year, it would be very disappointing with the type of team they've had. Plus the way this tournament's laid out. Yeah. I mean, good Lord, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no dominant team out there that that you see in your side that goes, man, there ain't no way we're going to get past them. But I can tell you this, and I don't think anybody argued, the path Auburn took to a Final Four that year, if you want to talk about blue bloods, we went through 3 of them.
Yeah.
Kentucky, North Carolina, and Kansas.
You couldn't ask for a better stretch there. And I'm glad it happened against those teams, so you can never take that.
Like you can say, well, you didn't beat a Fairleigh Dickinson that got an upset. Now, we went through – we beat a number 1 seed, North Carolina, 97-80. You know, we beat Kentucky, you know, a great Kentucky team that was, again, on the verge of being back in the Final Four. Just blew Kansas's doors off. And so – after a near scare in the first round, you know, by a team that, you know, you see in the tournament. A lot of times you just have to survive and move on. But, again, it'll be fun to see how this continues for many, many years on both the basketball and football side. Because another break, stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up an old two-lane too. Way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. Trying to write a song, the local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Looking for an attorney you can trust for your real estate closings? Wisdom Law Firm at Lake Martin has you covered. Your real estate transactions are fast, convenient, and professional every step of the way. Wisdom Law is certified and licensed by the American Land and Title Association and approved by all local lenders. Visit Wisdom Law Firm at 6366 Highway 49 in Dadeville or at their Auburn location at 2353 Bent Creek Road. No communication concerning a lawyer's legal services shall be published or broadcast unless it contains the following language, which shall be clearly legible or audible as the case may be. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Kalijah Idol is coming to Lake Martin and the River region. The opening rounds are at Martin's on Lake Martin starting March 17th. Then at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas at Wetumpka from March 31st to April 22nd. Kalijah Idol 15.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. You can give us a call, 256-234-6221. Let's go back and revisit those games. Alabama with a dominating win over a 16 seed Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. But again, they hung in there with Alabama for a little while. And Brandon Miller was not needed in this game, obviously. He didn't score, didn't contribute at all from an offensive standpoint, Scott. And so you look at it from other players on this team. That's what makes this team so good, is that, you know, you can have a guy or two not have a good night, and, you know, 3 or 4 step back up, and they're just deep. That's building a deep roster, and having guys that you don't have to rely on every single night, because most teams have a star like Brandon Miller. If he has a bad night, they're done. That's it for them. But, you know, Pringle comes out of nowhere. You know, we've seen Clowney step up. Clowney had like 17 in an SEC tournament game. The next game he had like 2. I mean, you just don't know which guy it's going to be from game to game with them.
Yeah, and the style of play that they have, you need some other guys to be dependable, but I don't think that they're good enough going into like some of the premier games that they may have in the tournament, where he can't afford to have, you know,
he can't afford to go 0.
Yeah. No, and I mean, you posed the question at the beginning of the show. If this was a different team, right, and they had a little more challenging team, and he had gone over, I'd say, you know what, that shows, no, you scored 96 without your best player. But when you're playing a 16 seed, you know, I don't give as much credence to that. So reports are, you know, he's saying he's 100% fine, and I don't think there was anything other than he just had an off night. Like, it happens. But you hope that that's not a
But you know he doesn't want to come out
Yeah.
and put up another goose egg 2 games in a row, you know, and I don't think he will, for sure, because a player his caliber is not going to do that. But, you know, a lot of guys, you know, Sears and Quinterly, you know, really especially the last month for Quinterly, if he hadn't been the player he's been the last month, Alabama would probably lost 2 or 3 more games. Let's just be honest about it. You know, and he didn't start off the season good and got benched, and, you know, worked his way back up off the bench and earned himself a starting role. So for whatever you don't like about that guy and the way he is, he's earned his way back onto the floor. And, you know, for all the shots he's taken as being a 5th-year player and a 5-star, you know, 1 star for every year you've been there and stuff like that, he's really carried this team in a few games coming down the stretch. So Alabama plays this Maryland team today, and you know, this was a dogfight between Maryland and West Virginia. These 8-9 seeds are exactly what they are. And, you know, saw last night Memphis got beat in an 8-9 matchup. There's some really tough games that you got to get through, but that's why you see a lot of 8-9 seeds move on to the Sweet 16, Scott, because they start the tournament off with a very tough team. You know, a team that's equal to them, a team that's had a pretty good season, that's a scrappy team, and then, you know, you get up against a 1 seed, and a lot of times you see 1 seeds go out in a round of 32 because they started with a cream puff. Let's be honest, and you're playing a team that 2 days ago was just in a dogfight to stay alive, and, you know, they're kind of already into the mix. So that's why you see that 8-9 seed, whichever one wins, move on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, the hardest part of the bracket is that 8-9 seeds, as you said, because they're so similar, usually the same course of a season. They've had that, similar teams, and so this season, or in this particular bracket, you got a shot if you're 8-9. It's going to be a little tough, I think, for Maryland to get through Alabama, but looking at the way the rest of this bracket plays out, especially now with Purdue going, I think there's a legitimate opportunity. Who's coming out of the Midwest?
Well, let's just run down today's lineup. You got Furman, San Diego State started at 11 o'clock this morning, and then Duke, Tennessee at 1:40. That's going to be a good game.
I think that's the best game.
I think it could be, but I think Duke could also run them out of there. I mean, seriously, I think that's where they are. Arkansas and Kansas. Can Arkansas, can Musselman continue to do what he's done the last couple of years? And, you know, if he gets back to Sweet 16, this will be 3 years in a row for them. And then you look at, you know, you're 1 win away from another Elite 8 appearance. That's what Musselman's done. You know, he seems to always have his team playing the best when it counts. Princeton and Missouri at 5 o'clock. Penn State, Texas. Texas better watch out with this Penn State team. I mean, this Penn State team is very good. They're very hot. They may be one of the hottest teams in the tournament. Northwestern, UCLA, and then Maryland, Alabama will finish it off tonight. Auburn and Houston will also be at 6, a little after 6 o'clock at 6:10. We'll be tipping off, and very good games on slate. You know, round of 32, you start getting some really good matchups.
We talk about this from time to time, but the March Madness NCAA tournament is my favorite sporting event. It's especially the opening weekend. You've got 3-4 days of just sitting in front of a screen watching these games, and there's so much action taking place. And no matter what group message you're in, everybody's talking about the same thing. Everybody's talking about the same thing. And so whether it's office pool, whatever it is, this gives everybody an opportunity. You don't have to, and this clearly shows it this year, you don't have to know anything.
Probably would have been better if you didn't know anything at all. So that's usually the ones that end up doing the best with the brackets. But we'll come back. We'll break these games down today for Alabama and Auburn, and take your phone calls, take your comments, whatever it is that you'd like to talk about. We'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey, honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later.
No. Everything's great. I love it here.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We were in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Hey guys, this is Nate Pass with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comment section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett and Scott here with you till 9 o'clock, and we'd love to hear from you, 256-234-6221, or you can comment away. Let's talk about that Auburn-Iowa game, Scott. It was a dogfight. Iowa, good basketball team. Both teams struggled in the first half trying to find a range from outside. Iowa did not hit a three, and Auburn only hit one. So I think they were a combined 1 of 18 shooting threes, and just didn't seem like they could get anything going from outside, and Auburn took a lead into halftime because Auburn was able to get downhill a little bit more and get to the rim. And if it hadn't been for Flanagan and, a couple, Jalen Williams, a couple of guys being able to get to the rim, and Janai Broom starting to warm up, it wouldn't have been a pretty start. But both teams warmed up in the second half. Both teams hit 7 threes in the second. You knew that was coming. Iowa was a team that, basically, if they shoot over 40, over 35% from three, their chances of winning are really, really good on the season. If they shoot under that, I think they were 1-11, and that they struggled, and they knew they had to pick it up. So they were able to come in and hit some shots. But, I thought Auburn, once again, climbed out to a 17-point lead, had all the momentum in the building, Scott. It was a crazy environment. Started to have fun, and then all of a sudden, here comes Iowa. They come down on 3 consecutive possessions and hit shots, and they're right back in the game. And then you look up with 4 minutes to go, it's a 4-point game, and you're thinking, well, now it's anybody's game. But Auburn was able to hit free throws coming down the stretch to close it out.
Yeah, 17 from 22 from the line. I think that's a key component of Auburn's success today.
Wendell Green broke the record for
which, I don't know if I don't think I give him enough credit for what he has been as an Auburn player, but going back to the blowing the lead, it's been the same game script pretty much the entire season.
Almost set your watch.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It'll be close a little bit early, and Auburn will get out, and then they lead it. They let it come back.
12 minutes to go in the game, you're up 17. You're thinking, well, just match baskets from here on out, and you're good. You don't have to do anything special. I also thought Auburn should have slowed the game down at that point. And we see this, and I talk about it all the time in the high school level with no shot clock. What are you sprinting down the floor when you're up 12 or 14 in the fourth quarter of or the second half of a basketball game where there's no shot clock? And that's in high school. Well, the same for college. If it's 12 minutes to go in a game and you're up 17 points, you control the pace of the game at that point. And I know you have a style and you don't want to break your style. And if offense provides an opportunity for you to get a transition basket, you take it. But don't hurry the game up and give them extra possessions. The only way they can come back, Scott, at that point is if you turn the ball over or you shoot really quickly and have a poor shot and give them the ball back. You've got time on your side at that point. Use it to your advantage. We allowed Purdue to get back in the game because we sped up. At that point, Purdue should have been speeding up.
Yeah, and I think that what really I'm guilty of that too. I get frustrated at times, especially on the high school level, seeing it where you've got enough lead. Man. It's like, all right, and I know you don't want to take yourself out of the flow of a game, but if you're a team like Auburn who's really your best offense is really when you're in transition playing good.
Right.
So continue to play good defense, and if it's there, take it. If not, if you're taking you could take away 8 to 10 possessions by just doing that right there, working it down to 5-10 seconds on the shot clock.
Simple math. If Purdue comes up empty on X number of possessions from that point on, they can't beat you. But if you give them double the possessions because you're hurrying up and you've got the big lead, you're hurting yourself at that point. I know you're trying to stay aggressive and maybe take the lead on up more, but at that point you've built a lead good enough where you have to screw it up to give it away, and that's what they almost did. And so they've got I don't know if it's fixable this year or not, and I don't know if it'll end up costing them, but if Auburn were to get a big lead today somehow in that building, they need to slow it down against this Houston team. They need to try to figure out a way to make Houston come out with a limited roster and some of their guys being hurt and banged up to come out and make them foul you and put Wendell Green at the free throw line where he just broke the Auburn not single season record, but all time for consecutive made free throws. Did you see D'Angelo Purevoy's post on that? Somebody said and he broke it was D'Angelo Purefoy and Frankie Sullivan.
Really?
Hit 28 in a row. I did not know
Purefoy hit 28.
Well, he didn't remember either. Like you say, somebody said, he said, man, I don't even remember that. I'm like, well,
sure
if I hadn't remembered that, I probably wouldn't have said it on the post. But anyway, Frankie, I definitely see Frankie Sullivan doing it, but would not have guessed, if that were a trivia question, would not have guessed D'Angelo Purefoy.
And I loved Frankie Sullivan when he was coming out of high school, and I liked him as a player at Auburn. But
RC had.
We've come so far since that time. I mean, he was all the team had. I mean, that we were just terrible back then. But
you have no idea.
I do like where you're going with the game, though. I think that Auburn is fortunate in two ways. One, you've playing a Houston team who is limping in. Yeah, they're limping in. And then two, it's a pseudo home game essentially. I mean, the crowd is going to be there.
Alabama's going to be in there regardless of what Nate Oates says. Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
So, I mean, not to say they're going to be cheering, but they're probably not cheering for Alabama. I mean, for Auburn.
They're not cheering for Auburn. Yeah, and they're going to be cheering for the other team in red. Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is.
I would. If I was in the building, I would root as hard as I could for Maryland. I'm sorry. I would be rooting for Maryland.
That's what's going to happen. If Auburn were to win this game, and I'm going to go ahead and preface this. If Auburn is to beat Houston, there won't be any of them leave. No Auburn fans. It'll be like, I'm pretty comfortable where I am. Yeah. I mean, and it'll be a nightmare scenario for Alabama. If Auburn loses, a lot of them will get up and leave. So, all right, going back and recap that, Broome with 19 and 12. It's like it takes him a little while to get going because he missed like his first 2 or 3 shots from like 3 feet. And it's like he's not aggressive enough, Scott. And I watched him, and he's real passive. And then he gets in the flow, and then it starts to kind of work for him. But, but ended up having another great game. Flanagan with 10 and 10.
That's all you need.
The wildest 10 and 10 you'll see. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, you just like 2 or 3 rebounds just happened to be because the ball came off the rim and almost hit him in the face. Because he happened to be in the wrong spot, and it just came to him. So, but again, if you can get something from him, like that, then that's icing on the cake. Wendell had a not so good shooting night, but ended up with 15 points because of going to the free throw line. Jalen needs to stay out of foul trouble because the longer he's on the floor for Auburn, the better this team is. I think he's the cog in the wheel for this team. Trey Donaldson, can he have an 11-point game like he did here? And then Katie Johnson, you get 11, anywhere between 10 to 15 points out of him. But you look at how many we got 6 guys in double figures.
And I mean, that's how this team should be playing. Right, that's what they were expecting from some of their perimeter play. But going back to Broome, I think that when he's not if he's not being involved in the sets, he can lose engagement, and I think that's where you see him struggle a little bit. But when they're making a conscious effort to work the ball through him and let him make decisions, then it's much better. I loved it midway through the season when they really started to establish, all right, he's a guy, and he would call for it. But when he's not, and he's being passive, and it slows down the game for Auburn, and it's not conducive to scoring a lot of points. So I think he, along with Jalen Williams is my favorite player on the team, and I think that he brings so much to the table that you can do a lot of different things.
And I told somebody the other day, I said, man, he's so smooth. He's effortless. He can effortlessly score 20 points.
Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't know it.
And because he's got such a good shot from outside, he's so fluid in the way he handles the ball, and he's in control, but then all of a sudden he makes 2 stupid reach-ins on defense, and he has to go to the bench with 2 fouls early. So hopefully he can alleviate that and give Auburn some quality minutes early in this game today. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey, honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later. How are you? Tell me everything.
Everything's great. I love it here.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Welcome back. Final segment here in hour number one. Brett Pritchard, Scott Hardy here with you. Got another hour coming up here shortly. Just kind of close out this recap of Auburn, Iowa, and then we'll jump into Alabama coming in at the top of the hour. But, again, you had 6 guys in double figures. Scott, what is it going to take, moving into this game today against a number 1 seed, even though they're banged up and Sasser probably not going to play for Houston? They still are a very talented team. They're the number 1 ranked team in the country in the polls, not the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. But this is a very, very good team. And, they know their backs are against the wall playing in Birmingham against Auburn. They know what it's going to be like. But what does Auburn need to do to pull out a win here and move on to the Sweet 16?
I think that it's going to be very imperative that Auburn has a game where they come out hot early to establish some confidence and let Houston know that they're in for a fight early. And I think setting the tone early with some design sets that we typically have to get some of our guys that we need to get hot involved early. And
I feel good from the fact that Wendell had 15 points about a bad shooting night. He's not going to have another bad shooting night. You don't think back-to-back. We've seen him usually come back with a 24, 25-point type game after he struggles from the field.
Well, too, I'd like to see – I think based off of that and how we've scored or how Auburn has scored throughout the season, a lot of it comes in the paint or at the free throw line. So a lot of that's dictated on how they're calling the game too. So I'd want to go to try to initiate some contact early, get to the free throw line to see how they're going to call the game, and that may adjust what Auburn does offensively. But,
defensively, I thought the effort was really good. Held Iowa to 75 points. I talked to Jason Caldwell yesterday. He was on the show on Auburn Blitz, as he is every Friday. But he and I on the phone talked about it. He said, I think the first team maybe to 60, 65 in this game wins.
Houston?
No, yeah, the Auburn-Houston game. Because of the I mean, because Houston's banged up and because of the style Auburn plays, you know, I think points will be at a premium. I don't think you'll see an 83-75 game here. I think he's right. You know, it could be another one of those rock fight games, and you see that a lot in these tournaments. We've already seen it throughout. I mean, it'll be 7-8 minutes to go in a half. It'll be 14-13, and whoever, you know, whatever game you're watching. I mean, it's a filling out process. It's a different environment for the teams. You got nerves. There's all kind of different things that are going on. That's why when you pick these tiebreakers in these brackets, it's not. I mean, don't be picking 87 to 81. I mean, that doesn't happen. Your tiebreaker points don't need to be in the 160s, and they need to be in the 120s to 140s, in my opinion. A lot of times, and you even see that in national championship games unless they go to overtime.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, too, Auburn, I like that 65. I think that could be legitimate. I think, too, because of the way that Auburn season has gone, although it didn't go their way a lot of times, they've been in so many close games and 1 or 2 possession games where they have a chance at the end to win it. Houston hasn't been tested in the same capacity that Auburn has. So if it gets into a dogfight, at least Auburn is comfortable in being in that situation, and just hopefully things happen in a more positive way than we saw down the stretch. But I think Auburn is very capable.
A lower scoring game really favors Auburn. That's
well, because
the
they want that. Yeah, they want that, and
but
it's a lot
their
different.
three-point shooting has improved. The last half of the year, man, it's different than what it was. I mean, they're the better shooting three-point, one of the better shooting three-point teams in the whole conference.
And if you can get 35, if you're sitting around the 35% mark at the three-point line, I think Auburn has a good shot.
Numbers. I think if you get 7 or 8 threes, you got a chance.
If they get 7, 8 threes, they got a good shot today, and like you said, against anybody in the tournament. But I mean, that means that KD's playing well, Jalen's playing well, Wendell's playing well,
and probably Trey's playing well.
Maybe Zep, you never know.
No, he scored the first 2 points. I said, well, that's it for him, and it was. He didn't score again. He only shot one more time. I thought, man, we're off to a great start. If Zep's already driven in and laid one up, I said he thinks he's done for the night. Ain't nothing else for him to do. He does play great defense. Yeah. But, man, I've never – and Johan Traore, I mean, I watched him in the game, and he gives 100% effort. Guys playing his rear and all. Zeros, man. I mean, it's like being out there and having zero impact other than taking your guy away from all the action. I mean, he runs one guy away from everything. And then so it's like, all right, y'all 4 go over here and play. I'm going to take this guy over here. At least he won't clutter up the lane. I've never seen a guy, and I watched him in warm-ups. Man, he can shoot. Yeah. What happened?
I don't know. I mean, he's not as bad as what we've seen. He's got a lot of talent.
I've never seen an anomaly like this.
I will say this, though. I think that Leor Berman has a good game today, I think.
Well, don't shoot off the side of the backboard.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll have an opportunity. I think the 3-point game.
He had
will
3
be there
of them
today.
that just rolled out, on him. But that one in the corner,
Man,
he had to think, man, I'm up here and shot.
And in good game, I mean, if he gave you double digits, if he give me 8 to 12, if he got 8 to 12,
I'm thinking 6 to. If he gets 2 threes, that's icing on the cake. So.
Yeah.
Up against top of the hour break. Stay tuned. 1 hour left here on Saturday Sports Countdown.
Now at Glenn Smith in Opelika, GMC Sierra 4x4 crew cabs discounted up to $11,000 off. GMC Terrains up to $6,250 off. And Buick Encore GX up to $4,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com. Plus, no payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith Buick GMC.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Hi, this is Jimmy Gorey at Gorey's Furniture. Come join us for the madness of March. Come join us here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase, Shoot from the line, 5, 10 to 15. That's percent discount off your total ticket. So come join us. Let's have fun. Everyone's a winner. Everyone will save. Come join us for the Madness of March, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Talladega Outdoors in Talladega is your authorized Kawasaki sale and service center. Your home for Bad Boy mowers and Kimco scooters, four-wheelers, and side-by-sides. Rather for hunting, land management, or recreation, they have the ride for you. But they are also everything outdoor with full lines of accessories and is now your Ariat workwear and boot store, along with kayaks and outdoor accessories. Talladega Outdoor, Highway 21 in Talladega. Everything outdoor and Alabama's #1 Kawasaki dealer.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown here in hour number 2. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy here with you, carrying you through the rest of this Saturday morning. We'll go to the phone lines now. Welcome in our co-host, Luke Robinson, somewhere in the gym, not upside down, right?
I'll probably end up upside down somehow, because a lot of this equipment seems very foreign to me. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not upside down yet, but I may get there.
There you go. Well, Luke, thank you for being on, as you are on every Saturday. With us. Hey, look, first of all, just a great week for the city of Birmingham. Had some bad weather yesterday, but no games played yesterday. So Thursday and then now today, it looks like the weather's going to be really good. So for travel, it should be great. You and I both, were able to be there and see what went on at Legacy Arena. It's going to be a big day today, having Alabama and Auburn in the same building. At the same time, basically, it's just a big win for Birmingham.
I really think it is. And I think that I hope today is as fever-pitched as I think it will be. I was a little disappointed is the wrong word. I don't know what to say. I didn't think the first two sessions were quite as crowded and crazy as I thought they'd be. I thought it'd be a little more. Maybe it got that way. Brett, you were there. Maybe it got that way later, but it didn't seem like that at first. So I'm hoping today is really going to be nuts.
It did. When they cleared out the first game with Maryland and West Virginia was not attended very well, and then Alabama fans, they knew they didn't have to be there right out of the gate, so they just kind of used that game as an opportunity to just make their way into the arena, and then it ended up filling up pretty good. And of course, like you said, Alabama's playing a 16 seed, so there's not a lot of angst about that game. But then in the second session, the problem was they cleared everybody out, about 50 minutes before the tip, and then they had to get everybody back in line to get them back into the arena. And bless the guy's heart trying to scan my tickets. If it took him as long to scan everybody's ticket as it did mine, well, no wonder people didn't get in until after tip-off. Because, I mean, I don't know what it was, but he'd finally get it to scan, and I'm thinking, dadgum, he's got 400 people behind me trying to get in this line, and that's exactly what it was. I heard some people saying, they were held up in line. They couldn't even get in the building before the tip-off was even to even see tip-off. So I think maybe everybody going ahead and getting there and getting in the arena, it'll be a different feel today.
Well, I certainly hope so. I think it'll be a lot easier to get in. And I'm kind of with Coach Willard for Maryland. I hope Auburn fans stick around, just like I hope Alabama fans get there early for the Auburn game. I don't care who you pull for.
Right.
Just want to have a good showing, because I think that that's crucial for Birmingham to get back in the mix on these things.
Do you think Nate Oates, and you hear Bruce Pearl talk all the time, and I thought Bruce Pearl was very complimentary of both schools. He said, look, we look like a basketball state today. And, he said Alabama took care of business. He said we took care of business, and, we're going to be here together on Saturday. Somebody asked Nate Oates about, Auburn fans pulling against, Alabama. And he said, well, I hope they'd have enough sense. I hope they'd be smart enough to pull for the SEC. Was that a tongue-in-cheek comment, or do you really think he thinks Auburn fans will actually pull for Alabama?
I don't know. I think, look, call me an optimist in my old age, but I really do believe this, that Alabama and Auburn have proven enough recently in the last 4 to 5 years where I think there's mutual respect between the programs, and I don't think it's always been there. Now, the fans are going to be the fans.
Right.
Brett, I'm not going to cheer for Auburn under any circumstance, and you vice versa. You're not going to cheer for Alabama. You don't care who they're playing. And I get that. And I think that's part of what makes our rivalry better than everybody else's.
Right.
But for the first time ever, I mean, really, in any sport, even when both schools are healthy in football, there's such a deep-seated hatred that it's hard to respect. I mean, you always think whatever success, either they got lucky, they cheated, somebody wasn't good enough to beat them to begin with, and they shouldn't have been there.
Right.
But I think now in basketball, for the first time, maybe in my lifetime, I think both schools are like, we can hang with anybody, and I know they can hang with anybody too, and every time we tussle, it's going to be tough. Now, we still don't like each other, but I think there's a mutual respect, which is it's been lacking in this rivalry. I really believe that. I saw a comment by somebody on the show today and said, yeah, Alabama, I talked to somebody who's from Alabama, they're laser focused on NIL. That is true. I can confirm that. And they said they were just so scared that Auburn was going to win a national championship, and they wouldn't. That is not true. Now, it's scary in the sense that, of course, I don't want it to happen. But that's not the impetus for why Alabama's gotten better. Alabama's always been a pretty good SEC school. They just needed to find somebody to take them to the next step. They tried. They tried with some guys. They went outside the box with Avery Johnson. Didn't work. Anthony Grant, shoot. He comes in with all these accolades. He was Billy Donovan's right-hand man. I mean, it looked like for all the world things were going to be great. Well, he wasn't. And also, I would say this. The state of Alabama and the South in general produces more talent now than it ever has. So there's more opportunity to get good players in here. And I think that has also helped a ton. So I don't think it's one of them has pushed the other one over the boundary. I think it's both of them have been there for the picking, and they needed the right people, and I think they both have the right people now.
Well, I said this earlier. I don't know if you heard it or not, but I said when Bruce Pearl decides to move on and retire, and if Nate Oates were to leave Alabama and go to another school, I think both jobs are now in a situation where you're going to get a good coach to come in and replace. This is not, going to be out there trying to beg somebody to come in and take a program over. I mean, these two guys have really taken these programs to another level. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, the proof's in the hardware that's in the trophy cases. So I think you're right. I think, we're here to stay. And when I say we, both programs are here in the new age of college basketball, where you look at a North Carolina that went to a national championship game last year as a blue blood and didn't even make the tournament this year. That would be something in the past you would have said about an Auburn or maybe in Alabama. You could see lightning in a bottle one year and then back to mediocrity the next. Well, in this day and age with the new NIL, I think that's why the next thing I want to talk to you about is this tournament as a whole. I think you see so much parity now in college basketball and teams that the 16 seeds aren't as far away from 1 seeds as they once were.
I mean, that's clear as day. And I think that it used to be the 16 seeds when they have as much more talent. I mean, Purdue's got more talent on its team than Fairleigh Dickinson, right?
Right.
First of all, it's also the irony in all this is Fairleigh Dickinson shouldn't even be there. It should be Merrimack.
Yeah, that's right.
But Purdue runs sort of an archaic offense now. I mean, they got this gigantor of a human being, and yeah, he's tough to stop. So what you do is you try and put pressure on them. You run him to death as best you can, and you actually have a smaller lineup. Force him to come out of the lane. Force him to foul a little more. Force him to try and keep up with somebody who can dribble drive. And the game has changed so much where, if you're a 7'4" guy, that's great. But you better be able to shoot a three. You better be able to, get down low and guard somebody on the three, at least on occasion. And one of the biggest threes hit last night was right in Zach Edey's face at the end of the game. And I think the other thing is, this is why you're going to see this tournament change. I'm going to say in the next 5 years, I'm throwing out a number, but I'm going to say 5 years, because what's going to happen, Purdue and North Carolina and Duke or Alabama, Auburn, LSU, whoever, let's use Georgia and LSU, for example, because those are two monster programs that didn't even sniff the NCAA this year. They're not going to want to look around and go, hey, we're basically making it where Fairleigh Dickinson and other schools like that can get a lot of love and a lot of money, when that should be our money. We're the ones doing it throughout the year. If Fairleigh Dickinson plays on a random Wednesday night against another team, Merrimack, in their conference, nobody is going to watch that. But if LSU plays Georgia on a Wednesday night, no, not many people watch it if they Duke, North Carolina. But some people will watch it, and it'll sell advertising. The regular season is sort of the backbone of this thing. The tournament is, what everybody talks about. So I think what's going to happen is these Power 5 schools and other schools that are like a Villanova or something that are big enough to carry a stick in the NCAAs are going to be like, let's have our own tournament where we don't invite any more Fairleigh Dickinsons. Let's not invite any more of them. And I know there's some people out there going, yeah, but that's what makes it special. But you got to think about this from LSU's point of view, or Florida's, or one of the North Carolina's, teams that are in the tournament this year. They're like, we built this thing up, and we have to play this incredibly tough schedule every year, and everybody's always gunning for us. And Fairleigh Dickinson really shouldn't even be there. They got in on a technicality, and they get more press than we do. And they're taking our money is the way they're going to look at this. And again, there are people that are going to say that goes against the spirit of the NCAAs. I disagree. I think that, these bigger schools, the Alabamas, the Auburns, the North Carolinas, they have made the NCAA what it is. It's only special because we think Fairleigh Dickinson is such a Cinderella. And now that the Cinderellas are winning, these other schools are going to be like, we don't need you to be Cinderellas anymore. We got some Cinderellas in our own conference. Have y'all seen Ole Miss? They're not very good.
And so, Luke, you bring up a good point about Cinderellas and how, people are drawn to the storylines of having, David versus Goliath. But at the end of the day, they really want to see Duke versus North Carolina or Kansas versus Michigan State or, your traditional teams. And looking at the bracket now, especially the South side, it's opened up. I thought that it was pretty favorable for Alabama beforehand, but now with Virginia gone, with Arizona gone, you're looking at the possibility of maybe just Baylor being the highest seed you would have to play or lowest seed you'd have to play going in. I think that things match up really well if you get through Maryland today. San Diego State's probably a tough matchup, but overall it looks like a Final Four berth is on the horizon for Alabama.
One can only hope, and Brett was on the show with me the other night on Tuesday, as somebody runs into the glass over here at the pickleball. I hope he's okay. Anyway.
I'm just glad it wasn't you that ran into the wall.
No, it wasn't. He looks like a very old Robin running into your sliding glass door. He made a big face impression. I think he's okay. Anyway, so Brett was on the show with me the other day when I think Charles called in and said, Luke, I got bad news for you. Alabama's not making the Final Four. And I said, Charles, well, let me tell you this. If anything, I'm used to it. It ain't, when we don't win the national championship in football, I'm sort of like, God, this feels weird. When we don't make the Final Four in basketball, I'm like, yep, never done it before. And until we do it, I'm not going to believe we are. So my hope is that we get there, obviously. But if we don't get there, I don't think it's catastrophic. And here's the other thing. I'm so tired of people killing Tony Bennett. I mean, Tony Bennett at Virginia has been getting eviscerated by everybody. He can't coach. He got lucky one year. Let me tell you something. In the NCAAs, it's not like a Gene Chizik, Larry Coker thing where you got like Larry Coker walked into a situation with one of the best teams in college football history. Gene Chizik had one of the best players in college football history running the show. And they won a bunch of tight games. So he didn't have to do all too terribly much. But in the NCAA tournament, it's very rare that one guy you can put everybody on his back. Now, Danny Manning and the Miracles, but who else? The kid from UConn several years ago, maybe? It's very difficult to do that through 6 games and 6 different styles usually. So I just think Alabama's going to have to match up and excuse me, I want to go back to Tony Bennett for a second. But Tony Bennett has also won a bunch of conference championships. He's won a national championship. He's been to an Elite Eight another year, a Sweet 16 another year, and everybody's calling this guy bum. I'm like, that's what the problem with this society is in a way. Tony Bennett's done a boatload for Virginia. I mean, and brought him a national championship. And yet people are like, well, he got put out 16 seed once for the first time ever, by the way, without his best player that game. And he got put out in the first round as a 3 versus 14 this year. He did. Those are true. But you're just totally looking over all the good he's done. And if he hadn't won all these championships, I'd be with you. But he has. He's won a bunch of ACC titles, tournament titles, and national championships.
Isn't that exactly
Going back to go ahead.
Isn't that exactly how society is, though, Luke? I mean, let's just be honest. You can do 98 good things and 2 bad things, and the 2 bad things are what everybody remembers you for. I mean, that's what you're taught in marketing, right? That it takes 10 good things to make up for one. It really does. Business misstep. It's true. It's true. So
I think as far as Alabama goes today, Maryland's going to be a tough out. What I really want to see is I want to see Brandon Miller 90%. I want to see him 100%, obviously, but if he's 90%, I feel very confident. I want to see Houston's guard 100%. I don't like it when guys are out. I mean, let them play. I think Auburn can beat Houston with all of Houston's guys. I mean, we're in the tournament. All you got to do is beat them once. You don't have to beat them 6 times. And I want to see the best players play. When I buy a ticket, I'm hoping I might just buy a single ticket today. If either one of y'all want to come up and join me, let's go do it. But I might buy a single ticket if I can't get anybody else to go. And just go check out both these games because I'm like, we got Alabama, Maryland, 1 versus 8. We got 1 versus 9, Auburn, Houston, in Birmingham. I mean, let's let everybody play. Let's all be healthy.
May not ever happen again.
Drag and see what happens.
May never happen again. That was my schedule allowed me to be able to go on Thursday, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity. And I've never been to an NCAA tournament game up to this point, and I told my son, I'm like, let's go. You never know if this will happen again this close, so we'll kind of see how it all plays out. So. Well, Luke, we appreciate it, buddy. Don't get injured in there playing pickleball, okay?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to try and just go over here and see if they've got an old man division basketball.
All right, brother. We'll holler at you next week, okay?
See you, Luke.
All right, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal. The encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Kalijah Idol is coming to Lake Martin and the River region. The opening rounds are at Martin's on Lake Martin, starting March 17th. Then at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas at Wetumpka from March 31st to April 22nd. Kalijah Idol 15.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cab, discounted up to $9,250 off. Chevy Equinox up to $6,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com. Plus, no payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Thanks to Luke for being on the program this morning. Again, if you haven't been to the Legacy Arena, if you didn't get a chance to go on Thursday, it's a great opportunity. I know tickets maybe a little costly, but if you've never been and have this opportunity to be in Birmingham with Auburn and Alabama together. I mean, there may be another regional here, but there's no guarantee that Auburn and Alabama, either one will be in it. So, I mean, it's just a unique opportunity, and go take advantage of it if you can. If you're heading up, would love to hear from you and kind of your thoughts on it. So, but Scott, again, I think it's going to be two really good games. Again, you got a 1-9 and a 1-8 in the building today.
Yeah, and with Alabama, I think that Maryland will be a good matchup or good test for them, but I think that the Houston-Auburn game will be much more intense in terms of closeness of the score, and I'm just waiting to see what it looks like on TV when you see the orange and blue and the crimson and white sitting in there together. That's going to be pretty fun. It's going to look like an Auburn versus Alabama game, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Had this older woman that had come in and sat behind us. She was obviously right there, and there was nothing but Auburn fans in the game. And I heard her one time. She said, "I hope Auburn loses. I ain't got to deal with all these Auburn fans on Saturday." And the guy beside her said, "Well, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I think you're gonna have to deal with either Auburn and or Alabama fans in here, one way or the other." And she just kind of laughed about it. But yeah, Maryland fans, Houston fans, not very many, but going to be majority Auburn and Alabama fans in the building for these games, and rightfully so. I mean, that's just one of those things that you're gonna look at from a standpoint of being here in the backyard, and whether you agree or disagree with whether Auburn should have gotten to Birmingham or not. It happened. I know I sat by an Iowa guy, and there was a regional in Iowa and Des Moines, and he's like, "Well, why didn't we get to stay?" And you don't know. I mean. Again, I think NCAA kind of already has some things predetermined before the selection and the way they work out. And
they had to say, all right, if it pans out that the both of them in there, they're going to have to both be in the same regional.
That's right.
For the money. And I agreed with Luke initially. Last week when he called it, I didn't think it would be fair for Auburn to get it because it essentially would be a home game for them. But, that's part of it. And I think that economics trumps the rest of it.
I'll be honest with you. If you flip it, and I'm not just saying this because we're the 9 seed and Alabama's the 1 seed. If this were reversed and Auburn were the number 1 seed in Birmingham or number 1 seed in the tournament and they got to play in Birmingham and Alabama was an 8 or 9, I would say, why not? I mean, again, there's nobody hurting anything other than the teams outside of here, other than Houston and Iowa complaining, that they got to play, essentially against a team in their backyard. But, same for Maryland. I mean, Maryland – it's the same deal, but, they're a lower seed, and they got to play number 1, so they get it. But, there's always going to be that controversy where that 7 to 10 to 11 seed, where they're going to be placed. And, you could have stuck Auburn and Des Moines with Arkansas, or you could have sent them out west or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, the NCAA has done more of that, putting in proximity to – and again – I know they don't make money off the secondary ticket market, but they want to sell as many tickets as they possibly can, and that regional sold out. And that's actually goal number 1 for them, is to make as much money as possible. So we're up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Attention. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? You may be entitled to compensation. Call Zantac Justice now for a free legal case review. The FDA has warned that Zantac and other medications containing heartburn drug ranitidine may be contaminated with cancer-causing agent NDMA. Consult your physician prior to discontinuing any use of medication.
Please call 800-379-5986.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika. OGS Tournaments. Russell Marine and State Farm agent Aaron Warren present Crank for Bank 2023, April 1st through July 4th. Win over $1.5 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 50 tag crappie are waiting on you. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or shores of Lake Martin. Get registered now online at crankforbank.com for only $110 for 13 weeks of fishing. It's Crank for Bank 2023.
Welcome back, everyone. 30 minutes left in today's show. Hey, we didn't talk about these upsets, man. I know Luke brought it up with Tony Bennett, Virginia, but, man, Furman, Princeton over Arizona. And then last night, obviously Fairleigh Dickinson getting the win over a number 1 seed Purdue. And, again, this is 2 times. We've done all these years in the tournament. And then now, here in the last, 7-8 years, we've seen 2 number 1 seeds go down to a 16 seed. I truly feel like, with the parity in college basketball, the gap has closed with all the teams. So
I'm sorry. All right. So, but 100% agree with you in terms of the parity, and we've discussed this on the show for years on whether or not, the amount of teams that are in the tournament, is it too much? We really want to see these teams. And while I agree with what Luke was saying about the potential, I do see at some point probably it being where it's just a Power 5 tournament. But until it's not, like, who doesn't want to sit there? Like, even if the likelihood of it happening isn't going to be there, to see a 1 beat a 16 or a 2 beat a 15.
I really think you summed it up. Here's the honest feel when the tournament starts. On the first day, the first couple of days, you're excited to see which big name's going to go down. But if too many big names go down and you see, I'm just going to throw this out there, an Oral Roberts versus a Fairleigh Dickinson in round 2 or the Sweet 16, you're like, ugh, this isn't as exciting anymore. So when it starts, you're all for the upsets. But if you get too many upsets, now the quality of the tournament isn't any good, and your big names are gone, and the teams coming down the stretch that you want to see in good matchups aren't there anymore. So it's a love-hate deal. It's a let's see how many upsets we can get, but then if we get too many of them, it's not even fun anymore.
Well, TV doesn't want to see, like, TV stations don't want it. The people that are selling the tickets.
But it's cool to see the shot go in, when the buzzer hits. It's cool to see, Furman steal the basketball and throw up a 3, and in the moment it's big. And, oh, God, if you're in Buffalo Wild Wings like we were and everybody's screaming and, you're in a situation but then when you settle back down, you go, wow, that was the number 4 seed in the tournament. Or number 3 seed, they're gone now. And then, Arizona's sitting there back and forth. You're watching on TV, and, you're thinking, well, they'll end up coming back. And then they end up losing at the very end. And you're like, well, they're winning the number 2 seed. And then now you already have a number 1 seed gone in Purdue. You got 3 left, Kansas, Alabama, and who's the other one I'm missing?
Houston,
of course, today that Auburn's playing. So you got those 3. Look, let's just be honest about it. Houston could be on the ropes today. I think Alabama will take care of business, but I don't think it's going to be easy for them against Maryland. I think they'll play with them. I think Alabama's clearly a much better team, but we'll see kind of how all that plays out. But upsets, they're part of this tournament, and I never really got to ask Luke on there about his take on this particular tournament, but it just seems like every single game is right down to the wire. Yeah. I mean, I know there's been a couple that have been, I know Kansas ended up taking care of Howard and whatnot, but most of these games are coming down to the final possession or 2.
No, I mean, the Memphis game last night, TCU, Indiana, all
of them.
All of these games are coming down, and I watched the end of that Memphis game, and I hated it for them because it looks like they did try to get a timeout and couldn't get it, but that is what the tournament's about. Like, I love watching just for 10 hours. That's all you're doing is just watching basketball.
Is that where you're going to be today?
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to just be in front of a screen or 2. Maybe avoid some of this.
Let's talk about the SEC teams up today. Obviously, Auburn and Alabama, but let's talk about Tennessee. Tennessee and Duke. This is a Duke team that you look at them at 27-8, but they are extremely hot. They won the ACC tournament. They seem to be playing by far the best basketball of the season for them. But if you look at the ESPN matchup predictor, I'm in shock. 74.4% in favor of Tennessee.
Really?
I mean, are you seeing that? Duke's a 3.5-point favorite in the game.
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
Where's all the love for Tennessee been?
I hadn't really – now, before or beginning of SEC play, they were looked at as a team that could be a Final Four team, and then they dwindled down the end and lost
still
some
ended
games.
up maintaining a 4 seed.
Yeah, I thought that they were a little lower than what I was thinking they would have been. I thought they'd had a higher seed, but you know, I don't see that happening today. I think it's going to be one of the better games today. I think you
think they'll play with Duke?
I think it'll be – their styles are very similar. It's going to be a high-paced game, but I like Duke to cover for sure. But I think they could – what you said earlier, I don't know if it was during a break or on air, but they could really beat Tennessee pretty badly.
You know, a game that Alabama fans will be watching, this Furman-San Diego State game. You know, this is a Furman team, you know, that just pulled an upset, knocked off Virginia. San Diego State, they struggled in the first round. If Furman were to win this game, I mean, you're looking at Alabama and Furman in the Sweet 16.
That's what I was saying, you know, when Luke's segment is –
and then Arizona's gone on the bottom.
You got Virginia gone, you got Arizona gone, and, like, Baylor's probably coming out of the bottom, but you never know. But, like, it sets
really
up pretty
kind
well.
Of the weakest division. I mean,
Which I get it. If you're the overall number one, you should have the easier task to get there. That's how it should. But that it looks kind of watered down
it's
for
watered
sure.
down for sure. But that's no fault of Alabama's. If anything, they're cheering for all the top. You want the easiest path. It doesn't matter. You don't want the path Auburn had. In 2019.
It's a good story to tell.
It's a great story, but in the middle of it, it ain't even fun. Like, oh, guess what? Y'all just beat Kansas. You know you play next, North Carolina. Oh, you just beat North Carolina. You know you play next, Kentucky.
Wow.
You know, that's not the path that you want. All right, Arkansas and Kansas, talking about this Kansas team. Can Arkansas pull an upset here?
I think that Kansas is going to be a little too much for them. I think it'll be a good game early on, but I don't think that Arkansas can score.
Bill Self is out still
again.
So
that now it didn't matter as much the first round, but Arkansas is no slump.
Now he may be back today, but I know he was out. But I don't think he's back today either.
Man, so speedy recovery for him, and hopefully they'll get through to he can be able to coach. But I think that Kansas should be able to take care of business.
Princeton, Missouri. This Missouri team is, look, I know Princeton was able to pull off the win against Arizona. I don't think Missouri's going to change the way they play their game. Princeton wants to try to slow it way down, and Missouri's still going to play their pace. And I just think Missouri – I'm going to say Missouri wins it easily, man.
Yeah.
Is that
going
out on a limb?
It was a perfect matchup for Princeton with Arizona. Like that was a good matchup for them. Missouri is going to run the floor. And now
Princeton went inside a 6'8" guy, and Arizona didn't have anything to combat. Missouri's got 2 6'8" guys that are bigger and stronger.
Yeah. And Missouri would be okay, though, if it did become a half-court game.
Right.
They're good enough to make it that. But I think that it'll be easier for them to speed Princeton up than for Princeton to slow Missouri down. And I think that that's where you'll start to see some things turn around. I'm with you. I think it could be double digits for sure.
That's your SEC teams on tap for today's action. We'll take a break. We'll come back. A couple segments left here in today's show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true, and the names have been changed because Brubaker Motors has sold to Sons Automotive. You heard right. Brubaker CDJR is now Sons Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Montgomery. Furthermore, Sons Automotive is a family business with dealerships throughout the Southeast. The name Sons Automotive is synonymous with trust, and they care about the communities they're a part of. They're excited to serve the River region, and in the interest of justice, you will be served a sentence of big savings. Sons CDJR of Montgomery, family-owned, family-driven.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Talladega Outdoors in Talladega is your authorized Kawasaki sale and service center. Your home for Bad Boy mowers and Kimco scooters, four-wheelers, and side-by-sides. Rather for hunting, land management, or recreation, they have the ride for you. But they are also everything outdoor with full lines of accessories and is now your Ariat workwear and boot store, along with kayaks and outdoor accessories. Talladega Outdoor, Highway 21 in Talladega. Everything outdoor and Alabama's #1 Kawasaki dealer.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I mean, some of these coaches back in the day, I mean, that's one of the things we were looking at during the break. Bobby Knight. I mean, you could literally be in the middle of an interview with him, and everything's all right, nothing happening, and all of a sudden it's like one thing in his mind triggered about the way his team was playing, and he's tearing the mic off of him, and he's
that's a good segue into something, though. Like, I feel like there was a time where college basketball, all just coaches in general, but with college sports, where these coaches really defined these programs, and you were going to a school for
broke the clipboard yesterday. Man, you know, okay, he broke a clipboard. I have seen that 832 times in the last 4 hours. You know, coming into this show today and then last night, he broke a clipboard. Who gives a crap? I mean, they have shown it like it's some just unbelievable thing that, oh, my God, he's just so mad he broke a clip. Man, I heard somebody on another show say, if you're a coach, you're not worth your salt if you ain't broke a couple of them things over the years. But, I mean, that's where our society is. We are so drawn and blown away by the least little thing now. I mean, the guy was in the moment. He sent a message to his team, and, you know, then the girl that interviewed him after the game, she's like, you know, she's holding the clipboard, and he's like, you know, I'm going to coach these guys hard, and, you know, sometimes I got to get their attention.
Well, I mean,
they just make a big deal out of stuff sometimes that don't need to be made a big deal out of.
And, like, what we grew up on, like the type of coaches we saw, I mean, there was – you couldn't do some of the things now.
No, you can't do a lot of
the things. You couldn't do a lot of the things now that coaches did back in the day to get their point across to their team. But either way, I mean, talking about the parity of college basketball in the tournament, I mean, I think that what we were saying earlier in the show, like, nobody cares as much that Tom Izzo is the coach at Michigan State. Like, that used to be a big thing.
It's not what it is. It doesn't carry the cloud it used to do.
So I think as that continues, he's one of the final ones left. Boeheim left this season. Coach K left last season for a couple seasons. So he's one of the few, him himself, really kind of the only ones that are still around. You could Coach Cal, maybe. I think he's
teeter.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a new breed of coaches, new style of play, and the way that teams are going about building their rosters. Like, you can be successful day one.
I mean, you would say outside of those guys, the next level, Bruce Pearl would be a guy that everybody in the country knows. You know, I mean, seriously, from a longevity standpoint, from a success standpoint, I mean, he hasn't won national championships like some of those guys you named, and he's been to a Final Four, and he ain't been to multiple. But you know, but that's where we are in college basketball now. Name somebody else outside of, like Luke said, Tony Bennett, man, that maybe has a resume or has the clout. You know, and I know Bruce does a lot of his by marketing, and he's really a marketing genius, and he knows what to do to sell his program and get as much exposure as possible. But the old school coaches like that are gone. I mean, and then look at college football when Nick Saban leaves. I mean, who's left out there?
I saw a list. I don't know if it was real or not, but it was a 24/7 list, and it was the top 10 college coaches, and Saban was 6. I think it was like Brian.
6?
Yeah, it was Kirby and Kelly and Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley.
Ryan Day, come on,
I can't remember who else. And I looked, I was like, now.
Lincoln Riley has not won anything.
I don't have anything nice to say about Alabama, but that's disrespectful.
That's a bogus list.
Yeah. So that's what made me think that. I was like,
that.
I don't know. But saying that, I do think that Bruce Pearl probably is considered a top 15 coach in the country.
There's no doubt about it, Scott. I mean, every time there's a job opening, his name comes open. You know, even if it's just in the circles of Alabama, you know, Texas job. Well, would Texas come after Bruce? Because who's out there? I mean, you're looking for coaches you think that can come in and continue to keep your program on a level of here or even on the rise. And
would he have stayed at Tennessee this whole time, you think?
He could have. I think he was so close to Pat Summitt, and he had built a good product at Tennessee. Scott, I mean, let's be honest about it. And I don't think he disliked being there. His son played at Tennessee. I think he could have been a guy that we see have I'm not comparing the tenures success-wise, but have a tenure in years like a Coach K. And I think he fit in Tennessee really well. Now that he's here, I think he's here to stay. I think he'll retire at Auburn, and I think that's, you know, I think that's the benefit of that. And I think Luke and I and all of us have had conversations that we knew his name was going to be coming up, and you know, I think, you know, and if I'm off, Luke can correct me and counter what I'm saying, but I think that at some point in time, Alabama fans were mad that they held on to Anthony Grant 1 year too long, and that they should have gotten rid of him and had a chance at Bruce Pearl. And I think if Alabama would have been, you know, the team going after Bruce Pearl, they might have landed him. Wow. You know, but Auburn got rid of Tony Barbee in prime time. They get rid of him to go after Bruce Pearl, and it worked out.
Tony Barbee or Brian Horace?
I mean, I was going to say something. I refrained. That's why I paused. I mean, you know, you won't. I'm just not. I'm just not going to go there. I almost said it again, and you're going to get it out of me. But you know, you want a thorn bush, or you want. I mean, it's like you don't win either way. You don't pick either one of those guys. You be a loser. I mean, that's the only thing I know. Harson hadn't blocked me yet, but Tony Barbee did, but on Twitter. But that's okay. That was actually a compliment. To that. Jeff said Bruce Pearl's the best thing that ever happened to Alabama. It made them take basketball seriously again. His coming to Auburn, I mean, look, again, I'm going to be the first to say Nick Saban upped the game for Auburn. You know, Auburn went to 2 national championships in 10 and 13. Should have won both of them, okay? I mean, how many had me and you seen in our lifetime prior to that? None. Okay? I mean, do you feel like Auburn has a chance to get back to one again? I do. I mean, and I think they can get back sooner than later. And I think if things work their way out with Hugh Freeze and teams that navigate the NIL deal, I think you can be there as many times as you want to be there. Put yourself in an extended playoff as many times. Give yourself that opportunity. So, I think things have changed all the way around. I think Bruce Pearl helped Alabama speed up the process of trying to find somebody that could come in and take their program back to where they once were in the 80s with Wimp Sanders.
Well, sometimes that's how it is. I mean, even like sports is a business, but that's what you're doing. You're running a business.
Right.
And if
It's
Microsoft does something, then Google's going to try to do the same thing.
Yeah. You're not going to sit back and go, well, they got us on that. I guess we just need to wither away. So up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. One more segment right after this.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every SCAG mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. SCAG.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on Saturday Sports Countdown. A very short segment. Scott, just your predictions real quick before we go.
I'm going to say Houston 67, Auburn 62, Alabama 79, no, maybe 85, 74.
Okay. That's probably realistic. I hope you're wrong on that.
I hope I'm wrong on all. I'm really just trying to jinx it for me. But
yeah, I hear you. I know you play the odds there on that. So reverse psychology. Psychology. That's going to wrap it up for today's edition of Saturday's Sports Countdown. Again, we'll be back with you next week for more Auburn Blitz, Sports Blitz Live, Lake Martin Sports Roundup. We hope you will join us next week. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. Have a great weekend.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? Then make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? Then make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every SCAG mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. SCAG.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.